All right, we are back. Episode 4, the Enlisted Real Estate Podcast. We got Brian Baker. I am Richie Fortunato, and we have a special guest today, Miss Larissa Suggs with the Barrett Spray team.
Hi, good morning.
What's going on with you, Larissa? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm super excited to be here. I watched the first episode and ran into you and said, bring me on. Let's do it.
We were excited to have you, especially after our first couple. We started talking about the realtor relationship, so thought it'd be a good opportunity to transition and talk to somebody who is a realtor, a realtor. That's the proper way to say it. It is. It's copyrighted, isn't it? Or trademark?
Oh,
yeah. Gotta be careful. They're going to find us.
Yes.
DBPR, I'm sorry for
separating myself.
Realtor. There's no A.
All capital letters too. Right?
Yeah.
So tell us about yourself, Larissa. How did you we used to work together. So Larissa and I worked together at Park Square.
Yeah.
And then she packed her bags and left us high and dry.
Yeah.
She's like, screw you guys, I'm out of here. I don't like you no more. I'm going.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, first I started in hospitality. That was like really my main thing. I ran restaurants and bars and did that for, my gosh, like 20 something years.
You ran them or owned them?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Had some investment in one of them. And then some things changed in life and I changed careers and went into real estate. And I actually went back and forth between friends that I knew that had worked for builders or were in general and kind of asked like, which avenue would you go down? And for me, it was more of learning and structure. And that's kind of what a builder brings to the table. So got hired on with David Weekley and learned a ton. Popped over to Park Square. Was with another builder for like a hot minute, but we won't bring that one up. And then came to Park Square and here I am, or there I was, and recently jumped into general and joined a really awesome team, the Barrett Spray team. So I don't know. I feel like I found myself really wanting to, I always wanted to work for the buyer and not necessarily on the builder side. I always wanted to see I wanted to take them more. I wanted to do more with them and felt going into general gave me a little bit more like a broad, I guess, audience in a sense.
Makes sense.
Instead of being stuck in that one community.
All right.
It's one of those things where you get a good relationship with a customer comes in and you're like, oh, you're not going to buy here because we don't work for you. And you're like,
right.
Buy, So it takes that away from you, right? You can go out and have a nice.
I feel bad.
You should go look at all these other homes,
Yeah, you get people that come in that you really like. You're like, I hope. Like some people you really want to buy, and then they don't, and you never see them again. You're like, I wonder what happened with them.
We were going to be friends
for real. And that's the crazy thing is I feel like I've made really good relationships with a lot of my past customers, and like you think about that, they're going to move one day. I'm not going to be able to help them move, or I think that. Being in hospitality and customer service, that was really like my strength.
Yeah.
And getting to know people and those relationships.
Yeah. Definitely get limited in. I mean, I get phone calls from customers that bought a year ago and, hey, we're thinking about selling, what do you think? What can we do? And well, I can't help you. I'm stuck, it's David Weekley, but it's cool. I wish I could help them.
Yeah. That's where I come in.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Does.
Yes.
You guys have programs to help, don't you?
We do. Absolutely. So it's funny going from working for a builder and, trying to market out to realtors and doing presentations and going to the offices and doing all of those things. I remember doing that a lot. And now I'm on the opposite end in a sense where on the other side where I'm going to the builders and trying to market myself and making relationships with you guys because there's definitely different things where I don't know, somebody comes in and they need to get out of their lease or they need a little bit of extra concessions towards closing costs. There's all sorts of things that my team can do. And it really just comes down to what the customer needs and wants in a sense. So, yeah.
That's very cool.
And I think there's a couple agents out there that have that different type of program. And I mean, there's some agents that don't.
Right.
So.
You guys have it as it's a program for you then, or is it just something you're willing to do?
Absolutely. I think it's more of a willing to do. And there's absolutely teams out there that have a certain gold certificate program in a sense. It all comes down to what you're willing to give up.
Oh yeah.
As far as concessions.
Right. Okay.
And I think to gain relationships, because that's what it is. That's what it comes down to, is forming a relationship with, whatever sales consultant, whichever community, that I'm loyal. I'm really good at what I do. So let's work together.
Absolutely.
And if I can bring you people, and if you can send some people my way.
Absolutely.
So really it's just trying to form that relationship, and I'll do whatever it takes to help you guys get a sale.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, that's big for us, right? Last episode or two, it was realtor relationships, and it's just kind of like what, for us, it's important because sometimes you get a lot of traffic, and it's great, but there's those times where the traffic is not so great, and the ones buying are the ones out there with the agents. So, we want to make sure that we, don't destroy a relationship for stupid things. We want to make sure that, we're accommodating you guys as well. So kind of both sides. So I think it's cool to have your perspective coming from, new construction and then going into the general real estate aspect. But
when I used to think about it, I used to sit and go, okay, well, how can I get these realtors to come in and bring people to me? What is it going to take? Or is it going to take me utilizing that first step? Is it going to take me going first and giving them somebody, and then I'll get something in return? And it ends up coming down to whether you have somebody that wants what you guys have.
Of course.
And vice versa, in a sense.
Yeah.
But it's tough. It's like a little cyclical where you're trying to form relationships, but how do you get that relationship if you don't have a person that wants that just yet?
How do you find, what do you find attracting for a relationship? So you go to Park Square, Richie's there. You don't know Richie at this point. There's Richie and another sales consultant typically, or you have two. Like, how do you build, what are you looking for in that relationship?
I think a lot of it just comes down to interaction and body language and commonality. And, if it's somebody's up and that's who I'm working with, and let's say they are terrible, I don't know. Right. That's hard, because do you go around that person and go to Richie, who I don't really know, and say, hey, she kind of stinks? Or do you just kind of work it out and figure it out, and then the next time around you go back to,
it happens.
I know it happened, but I think that's a great point, though.
Well, and that's the other thing, is I know that there's terrible agents. There's really bad sales consultants. And then to weed those out and to not blow a deal up.
Of course.
That's the other thing. You have agents, realtors that come in that exasperate the situation on something and then kill the deal.
That's a future episode.
And you're
when to shut up, stop selling.
Yeah. Just let me do my job over here. That's what and I'll do everything for you.
Right.
As a consultant.
Yeah.
I've learned. I just did a deal with Pulte, and you just stand back.
Yeah.
Let them do their thing, especially if they're good.
Absolutely. You know, and every community is different, and locations, Orange County to Lake County, there's so many different things that, sometimes I have agents that are telling the customer something, and I'm like, listen, I don't want to make you look bad. I feel really sorry, but all of that is incorrect.
Yeah.
This is the right stuff. And I feel bad because I don't want them to be like, I'm never coming back to this guy.
Right.
I used to have when I first started, we had a guy that worked with us. His name was Aramis. And Aramis is amazing. Right? Aramis Rodriguez, you're listening. What's up? So this dude, he worked at us with Beazer. When I first started, he was killing. He's worked in the same area for years. And every realtor that would come in went right to Aramis. Right? They didn't care if there was 3 other people, and then they would just give everybody else the Heisman and walk to Aramis. No matter who, doesn't matter whose turn it is. They were going to him. And then he'd get the new ones that would come in and talk. And I was always and I was new. And I'm like, Aramis, how do you work with the realtors who don't stop talking and who just say stuff and they don't know what they're saying? He was give him a little pat on the back, and I kind of sidestep in the middle of them, and then just block them out. So the buyer can't even see the realtor. I'm like, man, I tried it.
Did it work?
Yeah, it does work. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
It might not work for everybody.
I can see that.
But you have to.
Did they come back? Did they bring you future business?
I don't know. Probably not.
Well, see,
I don't know. I have no idea.
You might be able to save that particular deal, but in the big scheme, right, of what we're talking about is realtor relationships.
Right.
How do you get them to,
I think you have to have a conversation afterwards.
Well, I think that's the thing is like you're trying to educate that agent. And I was actually a little surprised. And trust me, I haven't been in general for very long. So I know that there's a lot that I have to learn. However, there seems to be a lot of realtors that don't do a lot of new construction just because it's unfamiliar to them.
Yeah.
So if, you don't want to really walk into something that you aren't knowledgeable in. And if they have customers, it's almost like they steer away from it a little bit because they aren't familiar and it's uncomfortable for them. And I was a little shocked when I'd heard that from a handful of people in just one little setting. So if that's just one little setting and a handful of people, there's probably quite a few more.
I think there's a ton, and we talked about that on a previous episode. It's just a lot of them seem scared. You know, like the registration cards will come in and be like, oh, let me fill this out.
Right. Like you're going to jump all over their customers.
Yes. Like I can't, like we talked about, I can't take them across the street to sell them something or, a reseller or whatever. This is what I have. Like, I want them in here, like let's follow up together, especially if they like it. Right.
Right.
So,
How do we get them comfortable?
Agents?
Yeah.
I mean, that's being in front of them. That's a hard one because it's, you want to be in front of them and you want to do all the presentations that you can do. However, I think it just takes them doing a little bit more. I mean, there's a lot of new construction out there. There's got to be a lot of agents that have gotten a little bit more knowledgeable.
I was curious if you think if they're scared or they just don't know what's out there. Because I used to have a feeling a lot of agents, when they get a buyer and they find the criteria, they just go on MLS. Absolutely. And if it's not on MLS, it doesn't exist.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And you're shooting out an automatic search to them on a weekly by however they want it. And that was a huge thing for me as a consultant, talking to realtors about, well, if you see something on MLS and it has a rendering, like, do you just shoot right past it? And half of the time they do. It's like, there's no pictures. There's nothing for them to really see or for their buyer to see. It's almost like that's a question you find out in the beginning. So what are you looking for? What style? How many bedrooms? Yada, yada. Do you want new construction? And if they say no,
it's done. Yeah.
Yet you still kind of have to keep it out there. I mean, I'll go to new construction, I think, before anything. For me, why wouldn't you buy new?
I agree.
Why wouldn't you buy new?
It's easy.
And you do everything.
It's easy. I say we do
everything. I don't have to write contracts.
Yep.
I do nothing.
Yeah.
I walk somebody in and show that, it's no brainer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm all for that one. Just bring them in.
Yeah, just bring them in.
I did 2 talks with 2 different offices about this kind of stuff, and it was shocking to me how many people don't know anything about agents, didn't know anything about new construction, or literally are scared to bring them in because they think we're going to steal them, or they're scared that they hear stories on the internet, because not all builders are the same either.
Yes.
So true.
And a lot of them don't. I used to get so mad. So this could be another one, but it's a bad word. And for real estate agents, it's steering. Yeah. But I remember when we were in Winter Garden, man, I used to have the same agents every week would come in, show their buyers what the model, and then like, well, how much does it really cost, right? If I want to do it like this. And then they would take them to another builder because everything's included.
Gotcha.
But they also got paid a lot more commission.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, this is so shady. And people don't know. They have no idea. They're getting steered.
100%.
So don't be one of those agents.
Don't be one of those agents.
Put a disclaimer on this episode.
Yeah. What do you think about that, on that topic? So, because that's something I'm kind of interested in and trying to get them to put together as like a VIP agent, right? So like when you have an agent and they're constantly thinking about you and bringing you customers, like I'd like to take care of them, what's your thoughts on that though? I mean, does that matter to you?
Like agent bonuses and things like that.
After you've done 2 deals this year with me, and hey, your third one, you're going to get another additional $1,000 bonus or whatever. The setup is. I mean, like, is that important? Is that?
Well, I mean, it's great, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But God, this is going to sound so like what everybody thinks they want to hear in a sense. It really also comes down to like, what does the customer really want?
Yeah.
Like, if the customer wants this, I'm not going to push them because I'm going to get an extra $1,000 in my pocket.
Right.
So agent bonuses, are they great? Sure. But when it really comes down to it, is it going to make me come to you any more or less? If I have a relationship with you and I'm been working with you, I'm always going to, I'm going to stay towards that. So loyalty is like my number one.
So I agree. So if it's a newer agent, maybe they haven't built that same loyalty, does it help keep it forefront in their mind then?
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, we're all in it for money, right? We're all in it to make a living. Absolutely. In a sense. So the more money you can make, really, in the sense, is the better.
Yeah.
And I think it all comes down to experience, like your experience with that builder or that relationship.
True.
And how that interaction was.
General, I think, yeah. What do you think as far as, because we kind of talked about this before the whole episode started, but, and you made a comment that I thought was pretty cool. Us going to offices, and all the realtor drops you do, and, hey, here's your candy for the month, or whatever we're bringing, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Being on the receiving side versus, doing, because you did it on our side as well.
No, definitely. So I had a really awesome manager at David Weekley who used to tell me, because same thing, I started working at David Weekley, and that's all I did. I would go to every single realtor office you could possibly imagine. I would host breakfast. I would have broker opens. I would do all of these things, and I wouldn't see in a sense, a return from those agents. And it was like, am I just spinning my wheels? What's going on here? And I got frustrated one day and sat down with him, and he was like, don't look at it as any of those agents bringing anything back to you. You're putting it out there. Like, you're putting everything in the universe. You're doing the things that you need to be doing to get, generate leads. It'll come back to you one way or the other. You're going to come back in a different way, but you have to do those things. Those are things you need to do to get business. And whether you get them from those people, you're going to get it one way or the other. So a lot of that just comes down to do the things you have to do, whether you see it from that one particular thing, maybe not, but you might see it on a different end.
Right. What's like being in the office now, and you have other agents coming in doing presentations?
Yes. From other builders. Yeah. But that's the other thing. Like sometimes they're on like,
so what's the real, like, acceptance of it? Like, how do those agents really feel about that when somebody's coming in to present? They bring you breakfast and they're telling you about their community. Are they listening?
I think some of them do. I mean, I think some of them do. I'm going to be totally honest. Like, I haven't really sat through one just because, and not for any other reason that I don't need to learn any more about any other communities. I did go to a broker's open at a newer community over in Oviedo, and they had actually a really good turnout for that builder. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things like, well, until I have a buyer for that, am I going to really push that? Mm-hmm. But then that also really goes back to around, I'm trying to get those relationships with those builder consultants also. So I really need to meet them, and I need to get to know them and see if maybe we can work out a relationship. So you're
talking about the relationship with the NHC. Now you transition from new to general. Right. Now you're trying to find your own business.
Right. So now I'm like on the flip side. I'm on the back side of it, to where I'm going to all the builders and trying to meet with them and cultivate my relationships from former builders that I've worked with. Mm-hmm. And it's almost kind of funny because it's completely, the roles have reversed.
So one I think we're going to do in the future is like self-marketing, like give ideas and stuff like that. But how are you using the builder? Because I know things you're doing. I don't know if you realize what you're doing.
Well, so with things like that I'm doing right now, what I'm doing right this very second here, this is really good self-marketing. Meeting with you guys, go to lunch and just hang out with you guys. I'll try to do open houses with builders that allow you to do it. Not all of them do. Really just popping in. I've taken like a Starbucks cup with a $5 gift card in it, and things that you would do for realtors, I'm doing for builders. Just like roles reversed.
But like, she's on our list for like, if somebody's out, do call you to cover the models.
Yep.
Or if we have an inventory home.
Yep. Yeah. So things like, and that Park Square is not I mean, not all builders will allow that. There's a lot of them out there that are like, no, we don't do that. Or because some people have even asked, how are you covering a model? Or how are you over in Summerview covering for Park Square? And it's like, well, I worked with them. Or same thing, like inventory homes that have one left, or I'm sorry, communities that have one inventory home left. Yep. Park Square allowed me to list 2 of them, which is really awesome. So I think just obviously having that relationship with the managers here and has helped me. So
the talking about the going to even presentations to offices, man, they always want you to do that, and I don't mind doing it, but I don't think I forgot anything. But the only reason I actually did it is to get all those cards. Everybody, because you do like a giveaway and everybody puts a card in a hat. Yeah. I actually took anytime I went, I was the one that took all the cards. So I took them back with me. Because all those emails went in my list.
Yeah.
So I don't think a lot of people though, when they go do like other NECs, they just go do it and they leave, and nothing happens after.
Oh, totally. No, you absolutely have to have some form. You have to give them something for them to give you a card. Because even if you just stand there in the front with a little bowl and you're like, put your business card in.
Yeah.
If you have at least a $25 gift card to Starbucks, something. I mean,
absolutely.
And
do a raffle or something.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was in general, and I mean, just brand new into real estate, I did it for 1 year before I got into the new construction. So the inverse of you, man, my email was full, and it was just everybody was trying to, you're a real estate agent. I want to be your lender and your decorator and this and that, and like phone calls, and I wish I had as many phone calls coming in from customers at that point. That would have been nice, right? Yeah. So, like, is that one of the reasons? I mean, they just don't want the updates?
As far as from the agents, no. I mean, well, I do. I want the updates in that sense. I don't know that everybody does, but I like to see what's out there and what's coming up and what's new. And I have somebody looking in a Apopka, and to sit there and search online, okay, new construction in a Apopka.
Oh, right.
Right. I mean, and you can go to every single site. You can go to Pulte's site. You could go to everybody's site and see what's up and coming. However, if you have somebody that's shooting you over a quick, like, hey, this is coming up, it's kind of nice because then you can automatically go, oh, okay, well, let's just eliminate all these others and let's just go right there.
Absolutely. I'll get your info after this.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Well, that's cool, because sometimes I do have some that so I follow up, right? And I'm trying to let them know, like, hey, we've got, huge incentive on a quick move-in, or, we're about to do a release or whatever. A lot of those are active. I know I've worked with before. And then there's others who just they popped in and just trying to, hey, if you're walking through, then you may expect to have a customer there. So, but you can see which ones are more interested in receiving, and then others who are like, hey, I don't update me anymore. I don't care to know. But if I need you, I'll come find you.
Yeah, then they'll call you like, you got any inventory? I just sent an email out.
Just sent an email. Right. You weren't on it.
You unsubscribed.
Yes. I know. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to get those, right? But I also think the more that you do, I wouldn't worry so much whether they're going to not want it.
And I'm not worried. My thought is I just want to provide a value, right? So rather than just be an obnoxious or hindrance or anything.
Sarcastic.
Which I can't.
Sarcastic asshole.
I can't change that. Thank you, Mom. No, just kidding. It's just it's in my blood. So I've heard that one.
It's just the army in you.
Is it?
Yeah. Knuckleheads.
It might be. I don't know, because I've heard that a number of times. But it's for me. I just want to make sure that it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
I just want to provide a value and something that they feel that they can take and use. Ultimately, so.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Yeah. What do you? What would you say to, new home sales? As far as what we could do to better, get in touch with you guys, to better communicate, to, relationship wise. I mean, like, what's your point of view as far as just maintaining those relationships?
Yeah. Well, I think also there was something that I did too with new construction, or when I was a new consultant, is not necessarily going into like the big offices, because you almost think like the more people I'm in front of, the better. Right. But I also think it's also nice to just do something a little one-on-one or smaller audience where invite just the team over and have a happy hour, or invite the team over for lunch to the model. Try to find those teams that are big in your area or doing those wherever they're at, if that's their farming area in a sense.
Right.
And see if you can get them out. Or if you have an inventory or something that is sitting and it's not really moving, bring them in, sit and have coffee and say, what are your guys' thoughts? What do you think? So I think finding the ones that you can almost get like a more of a personal, like one-on-one intimate relationship with, that would, I mean, to me would be if a new consultant reached out and said, hey, we want you to come to our model and have lunch and give us your thoughts. That's
cool.
Yeah.
I like that. We started doing something like that, like more of the boutique type, real estate agent, offices, and then just like more VIP type, 4 people happy hour, and not even necessarily in the models. Like, hey, let's just show our appreciation for you.
Totally.
And, we'll go out and grab some drinks or something like that.
I think anything like that is always really good, because especially when you're on more of like a one-on-one, or there's 4 or 5 and you're sitting just casually having conversation and having a cocktail together or something like that. That's where you find you get to know somebody, you get to find that commonality. You're just hanging out. You're forming a relationship. You're becoming friends.
Yeah.
And that to me is huge. When you become friends with somebody, that's
makes it easy too.
Right.
Yeah. There's comfort and trust in that, that they're more comfortable to come in.
Yeah. Well, and that's on any level. When you think of your buyers that come in, customers that come in, you can become friends with. I mean, everybody says, are you coffee worthy? Well, I don't know. I don't know. We're wine worthy. Definitely. Let's go have wine. I'm all about it.
Great. But if we're wine worthy,
bourbon
we're in. Yeah.
Listen, I thought about bringing a bottle in, but I was like, is it too early? All right. I gotta work with it.
We're gonna do like a bourbon talk, probably.
Yeah, we want to do like an after hours thing. And
can I be your bartender?
You can. I think we're gonna do a spinoff. We're gonna do like a veteran podcast to help veterans, and then a bourbon talk. I think. Oh yeah, like a late night. Doing this for that night.
I like that.
Because
it'll start off,
really good,
a little bit more professional.
Oh my god! By the end,
it could get very interesting.
You already can't. It's already hard to understand me. Imagine me drinking. I'm gonna start talking really fast and mumbling.
I know.
I was just gonna ask you something, and then Brian over here wouldn't shut up.
Well, so let me reverse that question then. What would you guys say, for you both, to realtors out there? Like, how do you guys like to be communicated with, or on that same?
I had this conversation with a couple offices, and for me, I like the ones that the best realtors I work with. I know because I see them a lot, or they'll call me, or we'll text.
Yeah,
it's the easiest when we're on the same page.
Right.
And that realtor actually sets the proper expectations with the buyer.
Yeah.
Okay. Especially in this day of real estate and how the market is today. Because I still have realtors coming in like, well, what are you giving me? I don't have to give you anything right now.
Right.
I can't even sell you a house if I wanted to sell you a house. Mm-hmm. So, but the ones that set the proper expectations and then we're on the same page, right? So like if we have an inventory home and they want to make an offer, I'll tell them, just text it to me and let me know. And I'll tell you straight up where I think it can be. Because I'm not going back and forth. I don't have time for all that.
Right.
I don't like that game. I don't like negotiating. Right.
You don't?
I hate it. I'm not
really?
a fan. That just tell me what you want. I'm gonna find a way to get it. But there's a certain price that we can't go underneath.
Sure.
So you have to go to that price, right? So, but the ones that I work the best with, we have a good open, good communication.
Right.
And the people are pretty, straight up and honest. And I don't like playing the games.
Absolutely. The games are the ones that I don't mind negotiating. I don't want to play the games. Like, I'm sure you've been there where you get somebody and they're trying to pin you against, like, we talked about that too, right? But, we have a relationship with the other 4 builders in the area.
Right.
Don't tell me they're giving you $100,000 because, one, I know what their included features are, their bottom line. And then 2, I know that's not realistic, So that's the kind of game I don't really care to play.
Right.
So negotiating, I don't mind.
That's crazy to me too, that there's so many agents out there that will do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. That's the other thing. I'll put that out there too. It almost seems like, especially when I was in, as a new home consultant, you're on an equal playing field, you know?
Yeah.
And it's almost like there's realtors that almost kind of look down on sales consultants as like, oh, well, you're not really an agent. You're not really a realtor. And that's a little crazy to me because it's very much equal. New construction is just as hard as general and vice versa, really.
They're both.
I can't do general. I know I couldn't do it.
Why?
I don't think I have the discipline, and I don't want to drive that much.
It's a lot of driving. That is true.
And I would just I just think I would get annoyed. Maybe I wouldn't because I kind of been doing it for a while, and as long as I set the expectation right up front. The one that drives me crazy, the realtors that don't pre-qualify the buyers. First of all, that would never happen. If I ever went to general, that would never happen. I don't understand.
It should never happen.
How you can't get somebody to take 20 minutes to pre-qualify, but you're going to drive somebody around all weekend.
Right.
I agree.
No.
So
that's your number one. You get a pre-qualification.
Yeah.
Letter. You get something from whether you're going to utilize a builder lender or not.
I couldn't deal with
you have something stating that they can afford to buy
what
they're looking at.
Then how serious are they?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's where you and it is tough because in the beginning, when you'll go anywhere. You'll go anywhere. I'm the garbage man. I will pick up anything.
Yes. That was me my first year. I mean, like literally, if you put a map, I was starring all of Central Florida.
Are you farming an area now? Are you going everywhere?
No, I'm going everywhere.
Okay.
I'm still the garbage man. However, yeah, and I mean, it's kind of one of those things. Like I don't know which area the team does a lot in Oviedo, Sanford, Lake Mary. So I could say that the team farms that. But me as just me, no, I mean, I'll do anything. I'll go anywhere. However, I want them to be pre-qualified.
Yeah. And then I couldn't be the person to show people houses for a year.
Yeah, and they're out there. I was one of them.
I can't do that.
And I didn't realize how bad I was.
When you bought your house?
Yeah.
It took you a year to buy a house?
It did. And not necessarily for me, though. It was my husband. I totally blame him.
How many houses did you see?
A lot.
Was it FOMO? Fear of missed opportunity or what?
It just was always not right.
What do you mean?
Like...
So you were looking for the perfect home?
Well, and it wasn't like on a consistent, like every week we were looking for houses. It would be like a couple months would go by and we would look at a couple and then we would kind of table it for a little bit. And then it really was, I got pregnant with my daughter and we were like, okay, we've got to, this is the time. Like we were kind of pushed into really having to find something.
Was it initially just an idea more than an urgency or?
Yeah, it wasn't, we were renting and we were good. It was like, we should buy a house. And then, my friend had said, let me help you. And so we sat down and she's like, I'll just start sending you, same thing, got on a search and we would see something and then we would drive past it. I wasn't in real estate. I didn't realize what I was doing to her. And
but I think that's a great point though, right? So when you talk about like the reg cards, right, we were talking about not wanting to fill out, but if you have a realtor and we have your information and and both of us are following up, because if you're it's an idea initially, you're looking, but you're not really too serious. Maybe you might think you are, but you're really not. But at the same time, if we at least are following up and then you're following up, something will happen in life. We'll turn that, right? So that keeps them engaged, and between the realtor and us, hopefully we'll generate that and get them back in the door, even if it is 5 months later.
Right. I mean, we would drive past something, or it would be on a busy street, or we'd walk through it, and we were like, "Oh no," I definitely wasn't one that would walk in and then walk through the whole house. It was like I would walk in and be like, "No, sorry."
See, I like having my community, my spot to go.
Yeah.
That's why I like new homes. That's what I wanted to get into. Yeah. Now, the selling the homes part, I'm actually not. Doesn't excite me that much. Yeah. I don't know why. Don't take this the wrong way, but selling houses does not excite me. It doesn't. Now it's kind of like an addiction. Okay. I get excited for about 2 seconds for the people, and then I'm like, But this excites me. Yeah, I do. After we did it the first time,
I agree.
I was like hooked.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's really good.
It was I wanted to keep going.
It was fun. We just started rolling. We were like, oh, we should probably wrap that up.
Yeah,
and then I realized that we had to go to work, and then all right, when are we going to get back in here and do the next set? And record again. So I agree. I had that too.
Yeah, I told Richie that he sent it to me, and then it was on, I think I was working that night, and the next day that night I put my headphones in and laid in bed and listened to it. And I'm not even kidding. I was like, okay, where's the next one? When's the next one? And then, and then at that point it only allowed me the 15 minutes. And then I was like, oh, I have to download Dropbox. I mean, I went the full, so I could listen to the whole thing. Yeah, it was good. It was interesting.
Yeah,
and I mean, I'm obviously biased. I think Richie's hilarious. And
there's one person.
Well, and that's two. I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
Yeah.
I'd be at home sleeping still.
Well, one of the things I find funny is when we get real estate agents that come in, like, I was thinking about getting into new home sales. Like, it's that easy.
Oh, that is, I remember that too. There would be a couple of agents like, oh, and that's the thing. One of the other reasons why I jumped from builder to general was I was not extremely lucky when it came to the communities.
People don't realize that. Yeah.
And
there's a lot of luck involved.
Nobody realizes that at all. Yeah. They think that they're going to go into join a builder and all of a sudden have this like candy shop community pop up, and it's like, and granted, there's
all be Brian Bakers.
First of all, I don't even want to hear it from you. Okay, I'm just kidding.
Listen, we were both thinking it. She just beat me to the punch on that one. So
this dude got really lucky, man.
Really,
his first community was Orchard Hills.
Yeah, I mean,
but when I first got there was 3 people in it.
There was 2, and then you were the third.
Well, when I got there, then there was 3 people in it. That's what I was counting on. So.
Well, I mean, at least you got, I've never had one ever.
A community?
No. Like a candy shop community.
Oh yeah. Well, you were in one, and then they moved you.
And then they moved me and put who there?
Me.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Well, I moved from these townhomes. I was in this area, but it's her fault. I told her don't do it. So
first of all, I don't really have.
They had this community. They had 2 communities in Lake Mary, right? And there's a guy there, and he was on and off, I think, or they only had one person. So she was covering. She'd volunteer to cover the days, and then they got quit. And then she volunteered to cover more. I'm like, you better stop. You better stop covering. They're going to send you there.
I just started, and they were like, "Hey, can you cover?" What am I supposed to say? No.
Yes.
I mean, I agree with you. I'd be like, if I say no, I probably just get canned. They'll find somebody who will say yes, right? I mean, like what?
They would have left her. They would have left her in the community, in her community. They would have found somebody else.
Yeah, that wasn't.
No.
First, no.
That wasn't like that?
That wasn't really an option. And then it was one day, you're moving to such and such and such and such. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I think that's one of the
people don't realize
the cons of new construction, right? If you work for a builder, you're the needs, like military, your needs the military, right? Your needs the builder. If they need you in you say no. But that's also why it's a small community, and you see that people do move around. Because you get put in a bad community, and, it's not set up right.
Yeah.
You're going to sit there and suffocate, you're going to move.
Right.
So,
well, and that's the thing. So agents that come in that are like, oh, well, you guys have people walking in all day long. And you've got, I mean, just like you've got trails of leads like everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's not always the case. And I think that has probably helped me in a sense with general, because I had to find buyers. I had to market myself. I had to do all of those things that you have to do with general.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'll never make it. So
that is true. Although sometimes I think I would love for an agent just to sit in there. Let's say we have 6 people walk in for the day. Just look at the seriousness or the quality of those, and half the time you're looking for that needle in the haystack. Like, which one is a qualified buyer?
Right.
And not just
wasting your time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a lot of them.
Oh yeah. There's times where I had somebody recently that, like, what's your goal for total, budget, right? Like total investment on this. It doesn't matter, we'll start at the top and work our way down, whatever we like. Well, then we found what they liked, and then they were like, we didn't want to cross over this threshold here. And I'm like, we're $70,000 off. I thought money wasn't an issue. Well, it is. I was like, okay, wish we would have started there.
You're right.
So, thanks for taking the last 3 hours until we had to figure that one out. But
some people just don't want to give you any info.
None.
No, isn't that crazy that if people would just learn to communicate across the board in every aspect of everything, how much easier life would be?
Yeah, like the thing is like car sales. Like we're going to high pressure. Nobody's going to talk you into buying a house.
Yeah.
Like if you don't like the house, you're not going to buy it.
Right.
And that's fine. But just let us know. It really drives me crazy when it's the realtor that don't give us any info. I understand the buyers because I get it. My wife's like that, where she'll walk into a store and she'll go looking for something, and the people are like, "Can I help you find anything?" No, I'm just looking. I'm like, Ginger, you came looking for like this dress. They can tell you where it's at.
But I need a minute to look around. Yeah. I really do. Like I am the first. I don't want anybody on me, even when I go into a store. I'm good. Just until I need you, I'll find you.
Yeah, I get that when it's come from the buyer and they walk in. I'm like, go take a look. No problem. I don't care. Yeah. But when it's the realtor and you know what they want, and it's your job. I hope. Well, some of them just meet them are in the parking lot.
No, sometimes they don't know, and they're just throwing things out there to see what sticks. Which is a little crazy.
Well, what they should do then, here's a little lesson. If you just met them in the parking lot, and I am your first model, walk in. If you already met them, just make the introduction.
And let you do your thing.
Yeah. And I'll ask them what they want, or you can ask them what they want, but don't make it up. Or we just came to see what you got. Like,
right? Yeah.
We already talked about this, but that just drives me nuts.
I know.
It really grinds my gears.
I know. Like how many of them? You got 2 models, and you build 10 plus floor plans in there, and they're like, "Well, this home doesn't work for me." Well, okay, that's one home.
Right.
I don't just build this home every single lot.
Right.
So, yesterday, they were like, "You have other floor plans?" I do. I really do. So they're like, mine was blown, they weren't with an agent. It was just home buyers, but they were, completely devastated the fact that I had other stuff.
Where are you? Where's your Claremont? Claremont.
Mm-hmm. Serenoa.
Oh, you're in Serenoa.
Yeah. Yeah. They need to hurry up. Developers killing me out there.
Go to Sawgrass.
You guys have been out there for a little while, though, right?
2 years now, I think, right? 2020, yeah. So we opened up in April 2018, I think.
It's like Builder Row over there right now, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition. Just added a new one out there. It's drawn in some new price points that I was unfamiliar even existed out there, So
they started like 250s.
I know, but I had people coming in looking for like the 100 200s, and I was like, "Who'd you have to sign up for that?" Like I hadn't seen that one. So yeah, that was interesting. We're like $300,000 apart.
I know. Keep my mouth shut on that one.
All right, guys. Well, that should do it. We'll wrap this one up.
Yeah.
All right.
This was awesome, you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
It was early.
Can I come back?
Yeah, you can come back anytime.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Nobody wants to just hear us.
I know. Nobody's listening for us. I don't think anybody's listening at all anyway. So
well,
they will.
Brian's mom.
Okay.
It's not public yet. So you're right, nobody is listening.
I wonder what the over-under would be on the amount of listeners we get in the first month. 3?
How many are you going to do before you? What do you do?
3. Yeah, we'll get 3 listeners.
3 listeners,
right?
We're probably publish.
My mom's going to listen. My husband's going to listen. I'm going to make them.
So we'll probably release the first 3 episodes maybe Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, this week.
And then we'll do one a week, depending on how many we can get out here today.
Yeah,
because we can only record like once a month. So
okay.
But thanks for coming.
Let me know when I can post it on like the Barrett Spray team and social media and all that. Right? Can I do that?
Oh yeah, take it. You can download it, you can do or share it. And anybody else listening, you can share it also. You can like us, stream us on any platform.
Yeah. It'll be on YouTube if you want to. That's where you like to.
You want to look at Brian's sexy face, go on YouTube.
Yep. We're working on the up close and personals.
We don't have a makeup artist yet.
Oh man.
Or lighting.
Terrible lighting.
All right, guys. See you next time. Thanks.